Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So, did Al Haymon really offer Terence Crawford the Errol Spence fight, potentially a trilogy, then Mell Charlo for the undisputed, whether he won or lost against Errol Spence, and then the fight with Danny Garcia? See, that's the question. And Terence Crawford says, y'all lying? He says, not true. But what would be the, because there's so many people that Al Haymon can pull from, right? To kind of plan the next three fights for Terence Crawford. Now, we know Terence Crawford's not signing no multi-fight deal, right? Like, he adamant about that. He's not going to do it. But what would be the benefit to Terence Crawford fighting Errol Spence, win or lose, first fight, second fight, then getting a shot at the undisputed distinction at 154 against Mell Charlo? Okay? And then to go fight Danny Garcia. So, to me, it looks like there's just, if there's any truth to that, right? Which Crawford said there's not. But if they said that, to me, there's almost like they were dangling a carrot in front of Terence Crawford. Now, again, supposedly, right, because Brian Custer said this is what he was told, that they offered Terence Crawford this deal. Crawford's saying that's a lie. But for me, I'm not here to say whether it's true or not. I'm here to try to analyze this and say, what would be the benefit of Crawford fighting Spence, then Mell, then Garcia? Because first I was like, oh, well, if he fights Spence and he beats Spence, he has all the titles, okay? Especially fights him the first and second fight, and he wins both fights. There's no need for a third fight, right? Crawford has all the belts. He's undisputed at 147. But to go from there and have to fight Mell, I was like, well, then Mell will just beat him and win the belts. But I was like, well, hold on. He got to fight at 154. So what this would do would cause Crawford to either just go up, stay the undisputed champion, which he'd have to get sign off from all those sanctioning bodies to do that, and get a one-off exemption so he could fight Mell to possibly become a three-weight undisputed champion. And then he'd have to fight him, set up for a trilogy. If he wins the first two fights, he's the man. And then after that now, he would still have to try to get some kind of authorization or exemption so he can now go and defend against Danny Garcia. So if this was true, that means that Terence Crawford would have a tough fight with Spence, tough as hell fight with Mell Charlo, and then another tough fight with Danny Garcia. And then that means that for 2023, Terence Crawford would have been locked down for the whole 2023 facing Spence. He gets out of 2023 if he wins those first two fights. Then in 2024, he has a whole 2024 busy with Mell Charlo because it'd definitely be two fights. And if he gets out of that, he would have had 2025 with, one fight with Danny Garcia because Danny Garcia wouldn't have any belts. So that means Terence Crawford would have been tied up over the next 2.5 years fighting PBC fighters. And he would have been getting all kind of pressure from the damn sanctioning bodies because I don't think they would have allowed him to keep those titles at 147 if he moved up to 154 and won them all there. At some point, they're going to want him to defend those belts, and he's going to get stripped or he would have just, relinquished the belts. And then the belts would have eventually ended up out there, the welterweight belts, and Al Haymon's fighters would have fought and probably picked up three of the four belts. So it would have been a win-win for Al Haymon no matter what. And that's crazy. But maybe there's a different way to look at it, and you can leave that in the comments and let me know. But again, right now it's finger pointing. The team Haymon saying this, Crawford saying this. But for me, I'm trying to say, well, damn, maybe Crawford, if that was some truth to it, maybe he should take it. But then again, Crawford wants guarantees. He wants the most money possible. And if he locks himself down into something like that, he may not make as much money as maybe he could have in fighting, lesser opposition and fighting more frequently. Okay, because if he's fighting lesser opposition, he can probably get in about 3 fights a year. So again, these fights would have helped. These are the kind of fights that would help with Crawford's legacy. But Crawford is about currency, not legacy. Crawford feels like his legacy is cemented. He's in the Hall of Fame. You hear guys like Adrian Broner, I'm in the Hall of Fame. They're not worried about anything. So for Terrence Crawford, you can't offer him those kind of fights, like legacy-defining fights. Crawford's beyond that. And I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying he's come out and said that. He's not worried about making those fights. He wants money, and he wants it now, and he wants guarantees, and he wants to have a peace of mind when it comes to his family. That's what Crawford wants. So for all of y'all out there who are mad at Crawford, plan to get even more upset up with him as long as he continues his boxing career and he's a free man now. Because he's going to jump at anybody. If someone say, hey, look, this fight can make $100 million. I'll give you $20 million right now, guaranteed. I'll take the risk that if we make another $80 million, that's mine, not yours. You can't say nothing. Crawford's going to take that, $20 million. And he's going to be like, I got my money. All right? And I'm not saying he's wrong. What I'm saying is that's the position and posture that Crawford has taken. And got to respect it. I'm not saying I agree with him or disagree with him. I understand what he's doing. But I had to get that through my mind that this man don't care about legacy no more because he feels that he's done enough. He's there. And he did. He's there. He's going to go in the Boxing Hall of Fame. It's the fact. That's a fact. That's not my opinion, okay? He's out of there already. He's going. But I'd hate to see him not take on some of these bigger names and just keep growing his legacy. You look at Canelo, right? There's no comparison. All right, we can say, hey, Canelo is cherry picking guys, and okay, it is what it is. But at some point, you got to give Canelo credit. This man fighting, Canelo will fight a crocodile. Okay, got to give Canelo credit. There's no one else out here doing this. Canelo don't care about losing. He wants to fight the best, and he's doing that. Yeah, there were some fights out there. They just happened to be easy. They were champions. So whether he made them look easy or whether they didn't have the balls or the confidence once they got in the ring with him, I don't know. But at the end of the day, guys out there who are getting the money and getting the legacy, right? You can have both. And I think with Crawford, he's just more or less, right now, it's just currency. But I would hope that he would stop and look and say, yo, and really believe that he's the pound for pound best fighter on the planet right now. And go out there and chase that legacy. But he's going to do what he wants. But I'm curious to see what the PBC team has to say, and Al Haymon has to say about this, offering him Spence, then Jermell, then Danny Garcia, because that would have given him an opportunity at undisputed at a third weight, then undisputed at a fourth weight. So, I don't know. But that being said, y'all keep cool. More to come on this, and I'm in the breeze.